Alright, welcome. Today we are putting the motor in the car. I'm doing it by myself, which I do not recommend, by the way. But let's go. Let's do it. The reason I do not recommend it, anything can go wrong. The bolts can snap, the chain could, you know what I mean? There's a procedure to putting this motor in the car. Just got to be real careful. So I'm going to go through a little bit of what I'm doing here and how I do it. The way you hook the chain up. What I like to do first of all, when you hook the chain up, I kind of want it to lift so the tail end towards the transmission has a little tilt to it. So when you pick it up, you'll see as it goes in the car, you don't want it level, you want it just like this. And that way on this particular model, I don't have a spline on my transmission like you would on a Ford or Chevy. Let's say I'm a newer, I say newer, something 60s, 70s. The Hydromatic has just the pilot bushing on the motor, and it has the transmission on this particular car is the rear motor mount. There's like 30 bolts that go all the way around the flywheel. Flex plate holds the motor to the trans, and you don't have to be torqued. You're going to see I go through every one and I torque them all. All these bolts have to go in, and then there's a front motor mount. How I did this was, when I put the motor in the car with the cherry picker, I put the motor in the car and I catch the oil pan with a jack from underneath the car. And what that does is it gets it over on the trans, and then I can lower it level into the car. And I've done enough of these where it's not that, it's not that sketchy. The most sketchy thing that is, you don't know about the bolts. You got to use at least 3/8, ½ inch bolts. Depends where you're pulling it from, the heads or. This motor is really heavy, 760 pounds. It's a little heavier than your average small block Chevy. So first thing we're going to get going on, as you see, just make sure everything's, your clearances, nothing's going to hit. This particular hood on this car, I just hold it up with a piece of wood. Actually, I use a 4-foot level. And it goes high enough. Take any of the front of the car apart or anything to get this motor in. It all sails right over the top of the radiator mounts in the front of the car. Everything, it just fit perfectly. Once I get the motor in the back hooked up or on the back of the transmission, like say the bell on the transmission, then I can lower to the front and I push it right back in place. In doing so, you know, it's just a little bit of maneuvering so that the pilot bearing lines up with the transmission and it mates. On this particular model, there's 2 alignment pins, okay, that are 180 degrees out from each other, okay? Each alignment pin has a different diameter. So it only goes on one way. It only goes on one way. And I don't know if you're doing these, if you're doing a 371, there's only one way this flex plate mounts to the transmission, okay? Don't get in a situation where you get stuck, because once you put the bolts in, you're gonna have a problem once you get the bolts in. So thanks for watching. We got the motor in safe and sound. I had to get a little help spinning the motor so I can turn and put all the bolts in. I couldn't do that by myself, obviously, because I was under the car. But other than that, I did the whole thing myself, and now I can take my time and we can hook all the elements, you know, back up, all the lines of hoses, radiator, blah, blah, blah. Everything is looking great. I'm excited to get this car and this motor rolling back on the road. We're gonna wire this thing up, finish up wiring it, and keep rolling on this project and more projects to come. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you again.